Woman is standing in her front yard. Her name is Emily Good.
Yep.
And she's right there on Aldine Street. And they were conducting a traffic stop. They were actually arresting a guy who was cooperating. And even at the beginning of the video is him talking to the officers, and they're going through his pockets. Yeah. And then they walk him over to the car. Meanwhile, she's filming all this, and the officer does say to her several times, did you see the video, John?
I have not seen the video.
The officer says to her a couple times, and maybe I can pull it up here for a second and you can hear it. He asks her to stop because he feels unsafe with her behind him. Here it is.
I'm going to stand in my yard if that's okay.
Due to what you said to me before you started taping, I think you need to stay in your house, guys.
What did I say to you that offended you?
I'm behind us officers when we're doing a traffic stop.
I'm allowed to stand in my yard.
Go stand in your house.
I'm allowed to stand in my yard. I'm going to stay in my...
I'm going to ask you one more time. We don't feel safe with you standing right behind us when we're doing a traffic stop. I'm going to ask you to go into the house.
What?
No?
It's my right to be in my yard, and I'm sorry that you don't feel safe. All I have is a camera. I'm clearly wearing nothing. I have no weapons.
It does not matter. You're not listening to our orders right now. We don't feel safe with you standing behind us. You're not moving even a foot further back. You're going to be.
Do you want me to move a foot further back?
You're going to be under arrest. I already warned you.
I will move a foot further back. I'm not going to go inside my house. I feel.
All right, you get the gist, John.
A Rochester woman's foreclosure fight ended today, but not without protests and arrests. Good evening. More than a dozen police officers showed up at Catherine Lennon's 19th Ward home today. They were there to make sure the bank could remove her belongings and secure the house. As we hear from 13 WAM's Rachel Barnhart, Lennon and her supporters did not go quietly.
It looked like the scene of a crime. The street blocked off, yellow tape, and more than a dozen officers.
I don't know what it is, but they come here, all these police come here to get me out of my home. And they're here to take me out, and they got me out, and they're getting all of my furniture.
Shame! 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 This was no crime scene, but an eviction. Catherine Lennon spent the last few weeks publicly fighting the foreclosure of her 19th Ward house. She had the help of her neighbors and an activist group. Some protesters were arrested for blocking the door to the house.
I think...
Stephen Baum's law office would not comment for this story. Police arrested 7 people who face charges, including disorderly conduct. Catherine Lennon, with the help of an RPD social worker, found temporary housing tonight. Rachel Barnhart, 13 WAM News.
Well, Janet, this story is really getting lots of attention, lots of reaction from here in Rochester and across the country. It's been reported on national news websites and cable outlets. People are divided over who is right, a citizen with a camera or a police officer doing his job.
You guys need something?
This is my front yard. I'm just recording what you're doing. It's my right.
It started with that back and forth between a Rochester police officer and a city resident. Within 3 minutes, though, the woman videotaping this traffic stop from her front lawn found herself in handcuffs, refusing the officer's order to go inside. The woman behind the camera is 28-year-old Emily Good, who now faces a misdemeanor charge of obstructing governmental administration.
Video is going to speak for itself. People can watch it, draw their own conclusion.
Stephanie Stair is Good's attorney. Today she told I-10 she has already filed a motion to have the charge thrown out.
What did I say to you that offended you?
Basically, the grounds for the motion to dismiss are that her actions did not rise to the level of a crime. It doesn't fit the statutory elements of obstructing governmental administration.
Since we first reported this story 24 hours ago, we have heard from many viewers, some praising Good's rights, others backing the police.
You seem to be very anti-police. I don't feel safe standing behind me. You mind standing in the house?
I'm going to stand in my yard if that's okay.
Rochester Police Union President Mike Mazzio has seen the video and points out that the officer in question repeatedly told Good he felt threatened by her presence.
I see an officer using great restraint, maintaining composure, acting professional, clearly given very clear and concise orders to an individual who just simply didn't comply.
Mazzio says what can't be ignored is the danger police find themselves in on a daily basis, and says the fact that she's on her property is insignificant.
About what was going on in my neighborhood, and you're arresting me.
So I think certainly she was trying to engage the officers, in my opinion. And that's what's so dangerous, because this is the distraction to what these officers are doing.
The police chief has ordered an internal investigation of the incident. And today, Mayor Tom Richards weighed in, expressing confidence the probe will be done fairly and fully. Stair says what it all boils down to is this.
Lawful orders should be obeyed. I think the question is whether or not it was a lawful order.
What we obviously don't see is any verbal exchanges between the woman and the police officer before she begins recording. Mazzio says the officer told him that Good claimed to know the man that was being frisked in that video. Mazzio says because she claimed to have an association with that man, the officer had further reason to be concerned about her demeanor. Janet?